What do people say when a young artist dies too soon or a talented athlete flames out before they reach their potential? What a waste. Why do they say that? Because they had so much potential, so much more they could have done. More music, more performances, more impact, more life. What a waste. Because the gift never got to go the distance. You have gifts too. You have a calling, something you're able to do that only you can do the way you do. The question is, how can we make sure the gift goes the distance? Because the answer is not talent, it's not ambition, it's not even clarity of what you want. It's what's underneath all of it, the foundation. Think about Kurt Cobain from Nirvana. He was one of the most gifted musicians of a generation. Nirvana changed the sound of rock music. His resources, the money, the fame, the reputation grew exponentially. By every measure, he made it. He had it all. But underneath, his health was deteriorating, depression, chronic pain and addiction. His connections, he was isolated and struggling in his marriage. He was cut off from people that knew him. His whole career exploded, but his inner life imploded. He climbed over a fence and escaped from a rehab, and he was found 3 days after he died. What a waste, because the gift didn't have a solid foundation. I've spent nearly 2 decades doing research, working with founders. I'm a Harvard-trained neuroscience certified coach, and the pattern I see over and over again is very similar, but kind of slower, quieter ways. The career climbs, the talent is real, but the structure underneath it isn't solid, and it compromises the whole thing. So here's what I want to talk about today. In my book, Get Better, I call it the growth foundation. You think about it like a three-legged stool. Now, the growth foundation has 3 pillars. There's health, connection, and resources. And this is really the foundation for your calling, for your gift, for your career, the thing you do. So let's start with health. Health is mental, physical, spiritual health. Your body and nervous system, the vehicle for your calling. It's the instrument. And when that thing is not working right, not calibrated, not tuned up, the whole thing can break down. Physical health means movement, sleep, food, exercise, and things like strength training, conditioning, whole healthy foods, healthy sleep, whole foods, keep your gut-brain axis working. Your gut produces about 90% of your serotonin. What you eat is directly affecting how you think and feel every single day. Mental health doesn't mean you don't get stressed out, but it means you can experience the stress without being destroyed by it. You can sit with discomfort. You can regulate instead of react. It's a skill. It's trainable. It's not your personality. Spiritual health is your sense of meaning. It's not necessarily religious, although some religions can support that. Spiritual health is really understanding that you're not your thoughts, you're not your body, something bigger than that. You're something more. Harvard came up with the SART framework, which is self-awareness, self-regulation, and self-transcendence. And the idea is that through things like meditation and mindfulness, breath work, through just going out and being present in nature, that you start to recognize when thoughts and sensation arise, and you realize that you're the witness, and you can't be the one seeing something and the thing. And the more that you can do that, you build this self-awareness. And through that, you start to realize that when these sensations arise, that you can witness them, and you start to be able to regulate the feelings, the reactions, the patterns. And transcendence is really about being connected to something greater. People with depression, they notice that it's their default mode network. The internal workings are constantly danger detector. I feel this and I feel that, and he said this and they said that. And your spiritual health helps you to transcend that. In yoga, in the Sanskrit, it means union. And a lot of people think it means mind-body union. And the real ancient yoga wasn't all about, stretching and gymnastics and crazy workouts. It was about meditation. And what the union really was the liberation of the mind from the body. It's like the union of the mind with universal intelligence, with everything that is. Think about that, because even scientists believe that consciousness isn't generated by some part of your brain. We're more like a signal, like my like my phone. If I could send this back in time with a little robot kit to walk around and to talk to some cavemen, there's no way that they could understand that I'm not actually there. I'm in some other place and time, and it's just a signal that this is just a device, a receiver. And that's your physical body, your physical health. It's about that, it's the device. And your mental health is kind of the conditioned persona, the way your body reacts to, and thinks and feels. And then your spirit is your true self saying, look at all this stuff happening. So when you can really get to that level of awareness and self-regulation, then it's just amazing what you're capable of doing. One of the big mistakes that people do is they try to go all out. They try to, the diet, the exercise, the meditation, all this stuff, and it doesn't feel like a big change, so it doesn't stick, right? And I think it's kind of like if your arm hurt all the time, and then you realize that it's broken. So just because you realize it doesn't mean it's fine. It takes time to heal, to grow, to get its strength back, and that's what it takes time to see change in your health and your nervous system. You really need to be patient with yourself. Next is connection. From birth, for all of human evolution, we really depended on connection. The nervous system really wants to be connected. It's how we co-regulate. I don't know if you ever noticed on the beach, all these birds kind of hang out together. The reason they do this is because, like the ones that are in a big group, they can prune their feathers and just hang out and relax because they know there's a big group that will react if a predator approaches. I'm a big introvert, so I love people, but I really feel better when they're not around. The fact is that relationships help us to feel better. It's good medicine. Now, you can be isolated or surrounded by chaos, so people can be the best thing and the worst thing. It can also be problematic to try to maintain too many relationships. Research on social bonding shows that we have the capacity for about 5 really intimate relationships and about maybe 15 close ones. And then beyond that, it's acquaintances. Depth beats breadth every time. And those 5 really close relationships are so important. So it makes sense to audit that, to look at the people closest to you and think about who leaves you feeling more energized after spending time with them. Who leaves you feeling drained, anxious, or like you have to perform. It's not judgment, it's data, and it tells you where to invest and where to create distance. And vulnerability matters. Shallow connection doesn't give you the co-regulation benefit. You have to actually let people in. That means dropping the performance of having it all together. The people who can see you on a hard day are the ones who actually nourish your nervous system. The third pillar is resources. Resources includes money, but it's also like anything that gives you stability, credibility, or leverage. This includes your skills and experience, your reputation, your credentials, and yes, your financial security. This is why it matters to your calling. When your resources are thin, your brain is in threat mode. Your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain that does the long-term thinking and planning and creativity, kind of goes offline when you're in survival mode. You can't build something meaningful if your nervous system is in constant scarcity alert. The goal is not wealth on its own sake, but it's a buffer. Like to have that 3 to 6 months of expenses and savings changes how your nervous system operates. So it's not a luxury, it's a kind of a prerequisite for doing your best. And this includes your skills. Every new capability you build is a resource. Every relationship you invest in is a resource. Every hour you protect from low value work. Resources are everything that expands your capacity to pursue what actually matters. This is where most people land when I walk through this. They have one really strong pillar, maybe 2, and somewhere in that structure there's a crack or there's a deficit and something's wobbling, right? More ambition doesn't fix it. More effort doesn't fix it. I've many times thought once I get the thing done, then I'll go back and make some friends or, start meditating. And the thing that protects your gift, the thing that lets it go the distance is this solid growth foundation. Health gives you the capacity to show up, the resilience. Your connection gives you the belonging and regulation to sustain it. Resources give you that line of security and that leverage to take risks that matter. Most people are missing or compromised in at least one. Think about your pillars, your foundation. Where is it strongest and where can you use some work? Because that solid foundation and continuing to grow and cultivate that, that's what's going to help you to really go the distance. You can check out the life quality assessment. It'll give you an idea of where you stand right now. It takes a couple minutes. Because the work that you're doing matters. Your gifts matter. But you can only go as far as your foundation will allow it. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Like and subscribe. But most of all, hope to see you in the next video. Remember, you're a gift. Stay present.